The Karate Kid is a movie from 1984, which a lot of people have seen and think is pretty good, but personally, I'd say it's one of my favorite movies ever. I think it's a masterpiece which has never been fully appreciated, and I'm going to explain some of the reasons why. Before I start my review, let me just say that this video probably will contain spoilers, so if you've never seen the movie, you've been warned. Now, the basic plot: a teenage boy named Daniel LaRusso moves from New Jersey across the country to the Los Angeles area because his mother got a job there. Daniel meets a girl named Allie Mills, who he quickly becomes interested in, and she appears interested in him as well. But we soon find out that Allie has an ex-boyfriend named Johnny, who's not over the breakup and happens to be a karate expert. So Johnny starts repeatedly bullying Daniel, and Daniel quickly finds himself lost as he lives in this new environment where he barely knows anyone. The only friends he has is this one girl, Allie, and his apartment building's janitor, Mr. Miyagi. I'll get more into the story later on, but for now I'd like to talk about something else which doesn't get talked about very often: this movie's artistic camera work. This movie has a lot of scenes which viewers don't notice were done all in one shot. I'm going to need to speed up some of these clips because my video is a review, not a movie commentary, but look how many scenes are done all in one shot. Look at this! Wow! Look at this! Director John G. Avildsen and director of photography James Crabb, who also worked together on the movie Rocky, used this technique here of allowing actors to really get into character by acting without stopping, almost as if they're on stage. They do this by using unusually long shots from a movie, often changing angles, and most viewers never even notice this. Usually when filmmakers talk about artistic camera work, they're talking about the lighting. But here, John G. Avildsen and James Crabb seem to focus more on composition and movement. That's interesting because these two worked together before on Rocky, which I felt did not have particularly interesting composition, but did have artistic lighting. It always gave everything a dim mood. It made Philadelphia look like a city that's always cloudy. I've been to Philadelphia, and I can assure you it's not like that. Hey, wasn't there a TV show called It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Karate Kid has a lot of other nice shots where the camera is showing you two things at once. There's a shot of Daniel practicing soccer that also shows you in the background the bullies coming up with a plan. There's a shot of Miyagi entering Daniel's apartment that also shows you Daniel practicing karate. There's a shot of Daniel and his mother in a restaurant, and if you look out the window, you see the bullies coming up with a plan. I could go on forever about the camera work in this movie, but the real point here is just that when I look at the camera work, I want to pick up a camera myself and use it as an artistic tool with actors. I want to storyboard and shoot a movie myself. I don't have the budget to make much of a movie, but that's a different story. So let's talk about the story. What do I find special about the story? Most people go to see this movie for the first time already having a pretty decent idea what the plot is. But if you were seeing this movie for the first time without knowing the basic story, you'd see it's actually very nicely written with plot points to constantly change its direction. Daniel's a boy from New Jersey, forced to move to Los Angeles. He's unhappy. He doesn't want to be trapped in this new environment where he doesn't know anyone. But as soon as he gets there, he meets this peer neighbor named Freddie who's very welcoming and says he'll introduce him to more local peers. There's a change in direction. Daniel feels some hope. The next day, he goes to the beach party with Freddie, meets more guys that he likes, they play soccer together. Things are getting better. Then he meets this girl he likes, Allie. She seems to like him as well. Things continue to get even better. Then, suddenly Johnny comes along and humiliatingly beats up Daniel in front of all his friends. All Daniel's new friends turn their back on him. All of a sudden, the feel has completely changed. His whole life is a disaster. He's now in this new part of the country where he has no friends, has strong tension with a local bully. It's a total change of direction from where the plot was going. There's a little bit of hope as Allie's still interested in him, but Johnny still continues to bully him over that. At this point, things seem to continue in the same direction for some time, but then we later get to a point where it's not just Johnny, but all Johnny's friends who are ganging up on Daniel to the point where they're about to kill him. Then, suddenly, a character who's been in the background of the whole movie, the apartment building's janitor, shows up and turns out to be a karate expert himself, demonstrating this by defending Daniel in a 5-against-1 battle. If I could find someone who's never seen the movie, but just wants to sit down and hear the story from me, I really feel like I'd have a good story to tell them, even without seeing the actor's talent, the artistic camera work, the music, the scenery, seeing the karate action, etc. It's just a good story to be told. The script also has ideas to offer, which are brilliant reflections on real life. When Miyagi agrees to train Daniel, he says there's a sacred pact that he promises to teach karate and Daniel must promise to obey with no questions asked. Then Miyagi gives assignments of house chores like wax the cars, paint the fence, sand the floor, etc. Eventually, Daniel expresses his bitterness towards Miyagi that he's working so hard for him and still hasn't learned anything about karate, and Miyagi stuns Daniel by showing him that everything he's been doing is actually practice of self-defense techniques. Daniel just never realized it. This is a brilliant reflection of real life. Very often, when we're learning our most valuable lessons in life, we are unaware at the time that we're learning anything. There's so many different things that I could talk about on why I find this movie so great. I could easily make another 3 or 4 videos talking about other aspects of this film I enjoy. And of course there's some details of criticism I have as someone who's really dissected the film. But before I begin that, I'd just like to hear some feedback from you viewers on what I've already said. In this video, I've tried to point out elements of the film which I enjoy but don't usually get mentioned. So, has my review changed your point of view? Will you now watch this movie in a different way? Or do you disagree with what I've said? Please leave your comments below and let me know. Thank you.